playoffs last year. Ben Roethlisberger took a lot of heat for his criticism of teammates along the way. This year, no Antonio Brown, no Lev Bell, no more excuses. Big Ben recently attempted to apologize to AB for some on-the-field comments he made. Yesterday, he admitted there are ways for him to improve his demeanor off the field as well.
You're talking leadership and you're talking relationships. This sport, relationships change on a yearly basis because guys are here and gone. And so you have to do your best to try and realize what it takes for each guy to develop the best relationship you can. And you know, when it comes to leadership and things like that, we didn't make the playoffs last year. We didn't win our division. So I lacked in leadership because that's my job as the leader of this team, is to get us to the playoffs. So I'm going to need to focus and refocus my energy and time on how can I be a better leader to get us back to the playoffs.
See, you mind what Ben Roethlisberger had to say, that he will improve as a leader this coming season?
Well, this is the thing about Ben. Ben has shown through his career that he can be a great leader. But there are going to be times where you're learning to be a leader where you're going to make some mistakes. And Ben hadn't had the type of accountability that made him learn from making mistakes, because he's been the franchise quarterback. And they've allowed him in that Pittsburgh locker room because they had other leaders that would lead certain parts of the team. Ben didn't have to lead the whole team. Now, because Antonio and because other things, we're starting to find out, how it's been in Pittsburgh. But you can't accomplish what Ben Roethlisberger had accomplished and not be a leader. It's just those moments that he decides that I'm going to tell people, the offensive, what we should have run at the time. I'm going to call people out as far as that was someone's assignment. Typically things we don't do as a teammate and being part of that football family. You don't let people in on that information. And Ben has decided throughout his career, I'm going to do that to protect himself, compared to taking some of that responsibility, putting that blame on, that's the coach's fault. That's the wide receiver's fault. And that's just all part of leadership and learning. I do believe that losing L. Bell, that wasn't his fault. But now Antonio, I believe it did make Ben, even at this stage, grow up a little more, because now this organization is dependent on him more than ever. And just like anything else, Jenna, they're like kids. If they want something, typically they will do what they have to do to be able to get it. Ben wanted that extension. All right. He wants to stay in Pittsburgh to be able to close out his legacy. And he doesn't like the way people have been talking and commenting about him. What are the two types of focus you talk about with athletes all the time? There's a focus and then a fine focus. A fine focus is the one that you talk. Goodness gracious. I knew you'd get there, no problem.
I'm stressed out for you.
But when you talk about it, listen, everybody's focused, and then there are certain times, either aspects of your game, aspects of your career, aspects of your leadership style that you really need to address with a fine focus, that you need to hone in on. And Ben Roethlisberger, I think, has recognized, man, everybody can't be wrong. All the noise can't, more than a half dozen former teammates, plus people that cover the team locally, people that know the team nationally. There is a narrative that I'm not the greatest leader. And you're not winning now. And you're not winning, but when it comes to questioning his leadership, there's probably initially been thought, as I think a lot of people would, well, what is a leader on a football team? I'm a warrior. I play hurt all the time. Yeah. The best thing we hear in pro sports is lead by example. I'm a first ballot Hall of Famer. How about winning? We haven't had a losing season in a decade. Been to 3 Super Bowls, won 2 of them. So if I check all those leadership boxes, then why is my leadership being questioned? It is exclusively because of exactly what you're talking about. Yep. All the comments.
Shut your mouth.
Right. Well, and I don't listen. Since I talk for a living, I don't like to tell anyone to shut their mouth. I find it a little hypocritical. But
I'm happy to.
No problem. But be more judicious with your words, maybe. Be a little more careful with how you talk about your teammates and how you talk about the games. Because if it was just about 16 Sundays a year in the playoffs, nobody would question his leadership. He's a Hall of Famer, Super Bowl champion, who gets beat to hell and plays through injury. Those are the traits of a great leader. It's the post-game during the week stuff that undercut it. Denny Green used to tell me, and we were in Minnesota, its nickname is the 10,000 Lakes, because there's literally 10,000 lakes. Denny's a fisherman. So he used to use a lot of examples of fishing and lakes and water and everything. He said, Chris, I want you to have everyone in our organization, we're on the side of a lake. Everyone's got a rock in their hand. Everyone, we're going to give them a chance to throw their rock. That means after the game, during the week in practice, every player, every person in the organization, they have the right to voice their opinion. Everyone throws their rock out there. Chris, you know something? All of our rocks are the same size. You know who's cast the biggest splash? Yours and mine. Because people believe in you, and they kind of believe in me, but they're also coming after my head. So everything I say will be magnified, and everything you say will be magnified. So be careful. Like, even though everyone else gets a chance to throw, realizing the type of splash that it's going to make, and it's not fair. It's just all a part of being a leader. It's all part of being a captain, and it's all part of you being paid the type of money that you're being paid. And that is the fishbowl that Ben Roethlisberger will be in. Mike Tomlin will also be in that same type of situation. So I understand. And as a leader, you have to continue to grow. And I believe that Ben, as you can see, they're not going to weigh him in at minicamp. I guarantee his weight's down from what it typically is at minicamp. You can see his face is clean shaven.
No, he wanted something this offseason.
Absolutely.
He definitely did. But he's been playing how many years now is this for him? He'll be entering?
16.
16 years, and he's yet to really show up and show what a true leader is. And I hope he is, and I love the way he plays. But you know me, I'd rather less noise off the field and more showing me on it.
He has done some of the things. He just hadn't been as consistent, because you don't expect a guy to play with the type of injuries that he's played with and do the things that he's done and then come after the game and be like, the wide receiver ran the wrong route. I mean, that's a kid mistake.
I would expect you to empathize with him. It's so many similarities. Super high performer, just her mouth gets you in a little bit of trouble sometimes.
See, there you got there.
That's all.
I was waiting for it. Got to take a break right now. Coming up, how will KD's free agency decision shape his legacy? It is ahead on First.